So 2022 had quite a few cool looking S.H.MonsterArts releases, so I figure I might as well do a top 3 for 2022. Hey, how's it going everyone? So as we saw, we're jumping into a top 3 for 2022 from the S.H.MonsterArts line. And starting with number 3, we have the Final Wars Godzilla 2004 release. I really love this figure, and actually the only actual Godzilla release from this year. Surprisingly pretty limited. Most of the releases this year did kind of center around the bosses, also the bad guys or the foe from the various series, and some other heroes as well from Godzilla SP. Now this figure itself, again like most monster arts, super slim with what you get. But for this one here, the star of the show is the articulation. Where this release basically takes the articulation to the extreme. Super fluid motion, and if you do want to see a full review for all these figures and every other release from this year, you can definitely check them out on the channel, so I won't go too deeply into it. But the points for this one that I love was the extreme articulation, and it really captured the look for the monster, and the tail itself feels really nice, and the coloring for the spine. The only downside is this one has quite a few big gaps depending on the pose you're doing and the angle you're looking at. And that is due to the extended articulation. We have more room around the joints to allow for that motion, and in turn, while we get the extreme articulation, we do get more of an unsightly gap forming. So that is the downside, but overall super stellar release, and it's still pretty easily available in Japan since it is retail. So if you are coming over on holiday, I recommend picking one up, and if you're overseas, hopefully you can still easily get your hands on them as well. For me, coming in at number 2 is the S.H.MonsterArts Rodan, or Rodan 2021 second form from the Godzilla SP series. Now, I was fortunate enough during Tamashii Nations 22 back in November to actually interview Osako-san from the R&D team for the MonsterArts line at Tamashii live. So if you haven't checked that out, you can do on the channel. There'll be a link in the description below. And during our discussion, they mentioned that they're really trying to bring forth more fun ways and enjoyment to the figures in terms of extra accessories and gimmicks, and that's something we did see a lot this year. With the the other SP release, which is the Jet Jaguar, we saw the extra little wee tiny figures and accessories like that, and same with Ultima last year. And for Rodan itself, we got the Swarm. Now this is the main reason why this is number 2 on my list, so let's pop it out and have a look. So first off, we can check out Rodan, and overall simple finish, but very effective with a nice blood spine colouring, extra detailing on the wing, and the way these kind of bifold up so you can walk on those legs as well. And the articulation in the neck is pretty crisp and clean too, and same for detailing. We've got those what was it, kind of, not fins, like the kind of meshy skin, the tendons and so forth coming through, and the teeth is super crisp and clean. We do have a stand so we can have him flying and soaring through the sky in a fantastic pose, which is great. And as I mentioned earlier, the gimmick for this one was the Swarm, so we get 2 sets of these mini little wee Rodans that fly next to him. Maybe a little bit hard to see, but just something like this adds a lot of fun playability and makes the displays a little bit more dynamic. So we have a stand which these will connect on either side, and we have 2 of them. So great thing about this release, it works really well if you pick up multiples. I know a lot of people did buy 2, 3 or 4 of these figures just so they can have a massive Rodan Swarm, which looks really badass. I know Figure Mania Show, he did some awesome photos of this release when it came out, showcasing 3 or 4 of these flying in a massive swarm with all the little bit guys behind, so it works really well. So coming at number 1 is Hedora 50th Anniversary Special Set. This is my favourite release, actually for the whole line. I love it. It's heavy, it's beastie. We got all forms for Hedora. The main smog monster, the flying form, and the little wee tadpole version as well. And that head can pop off into a sludge pool to have that coming out of the water or toxic waste look, which is awesome. So yeah, let's pop this out and we can get a closer look. So for this release we've got a few different stands. We've got the smog part at the bottom which the tadpole head can attach to. We've got the little stand for the small flying form and the other main stand for the big flying form as well. Now I won't go into all those details in this because you can obviously go check out the full review where I cover every detail. So we'll just have a quick look at each part. So we have a flying form here with those beautifully painted eyes. You can see the starring effect with the gold colour. We've got the creepy little tendrils underneath, and all the sculpting and detailing looks absolutely amazing. And so yeah, this one just pops on the stand and you can have it there floating with while everyone beneath falls to their death. Now for the tadpole one, shown here, looks really good. Again, the super crisp painting on the eyes, it just looks so cool. You can even see his little tendril hands kind of tucked in underneath. So the detailing for the sculpting is amazing. And then we go to the big boy himself. We can see all the different colouring, the layering of the paint with the red, the yellow, that real toxicity green colours. It looks like on the toxic poisonous pus sac on the back. We've got the articulation points on the tail, which is really nice. His arms will move up and down a little bit. I mean, this figure, the articulation is pretty limited, but you can still move everything around pretty well. Same with the head. So yeah, for me, this one here, even though the articulation is a bit more lacking, the detailing on it, the fact that we get all three forms, and the colouring especially, and the painting of those eyes, just really brings it up to the top spot for me. Because, well, as it's called, the special set, it really is everything, opposed to being just one form, one snippet of their monster from a movie. In this case, we get to recreate multiple scenes with the same figure. So yeah, that is my top 3 for the MonsterArts line for 2022. Do let me know in the comments below what are your top 3. And for some other comments on the other releases, because we had some fantastic figures, including Monster X, who is from the Final Wars movies. So he is great, but I didn't really like his finish as much compared to these figures. That's why he was just down in probably the 4th spot. And then along with him, we also have the 2019 special colour version of Hedora, who is fantastic, nice colour update, but since it isn't really a new figure, it didn't really edge out any of our releases. And same with the Jet Jaguar 2021, again, really nice figure, but it's probably maybe 5th spot for this year. So the other ones that we had just had some really fun gimmicks or a fantastic finish, such as Hedora here. So if you enjoy the MonsterArts line, please do subscribe if you haven't already. If you have been following me throughout the year, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully next year we can get some more fun, interesting events going on, or some community interactions, which would be awesome for everyone who loves the S.H.MonsterArts line. So again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheers!